out that her best friend since she was 14 was having an affair with her husband. And we were all shook. Because we knew that they were going through a divorce. She's been very open about that. But we didn't know how deep it was. Like, I remember reading an article about her saying that she was financially abused by her husband when she moved to Germany, and I was like, I'm not shook. I have dated a German, and I know how Germans operate when it comes to money. Okay, so that part was not shocking to me. The part about, like, financial abuse, I was just like, yeah, you dated a German guy who's probably never lived much outside of Germany, so they probably are very German. But what was funny about it is, like, reading tweets about people referencing white men playing black women, because they were like, yo, these white dudes are playing our sisters, and they made references to Linda Mdawa, whose husband had cheated on her, Sonia Booth, whose husband had cheated on her, Zagi Isi, but we don't really know. I don't really know what happened in that marriage, why it ended up ending. But I'm like, why does it matter what race these people are? Because the problem starts when we start to romanticize and idealize mixed relationships, and we think this is where all the heaven is. Let me tell you, as a person whose long-term relationships have been with both white men and black men, men will men. A man will cheat on you regardless of whether they're black or white. A man will lie on you regardless of whether they're black or white. A man will promise you the world and then deliver nothing regardless of whether they're black or white. I have dated black men that have been amazing, like treated me so great. But I tend to gallivant a lot, and so my relationships tend to not work out with black men because they like want to capture me, and I'm like, no, I'm for like the world and whatnot. I've also dated white men where I wanted to be captured by this particular white guy, and I was just like, I could see myself, being captured by you, and he was like, I don't want kids. I don't want to get married. And we dated for 3 years, so that was a really long time. Point being, it doesn't matter. If anything, I feel like you are most likely to meet a white guy, in South Africa at least, a white guy who doesn't want kids and marriage than to meet a black guy who doesn't want kids or marriage. I'm not saying there aren't any, I'm just saying there are very few of them. And my whole point with this video is like, when you're dating somebody, yes, culture plays a role in how they are going to likely do things and behave and respond to things. But at the end of the day, you are dating an individual. You are not dating white people. You are dating a person who happens to be white. So if they happen to not live up to whatever stereotypical views you have of white people in your head, just know it's not like a white people thing. It's just a them thing. When a guy cheats on me, I'm not like, oh, black guys cheat. No, I'm just like, see, Paul cheated on me. Or William cheated on me. Because I've been cheated on by a black guy. I've been cheated on by a white guy. It really doesn't matter what race they're from. I'd say, like, for me, now that I'm older, I am finding it much more easier, or at least since like the 30th of December, I found it a lot more easier to date South African men. Because I'm like, I know a lot more about your cultural background than I do a guy who's from East Europe or something like that. And one thing I do appreciate about South African guy, I digress, is how straightforward they are. It's been so refreshing to go out with somebody who's like, I want a relationship and I want you. Rather than someone where you just go on forever and you're just like, what are we? Anyways, I digress. Point being, men will men. That was the whole point of this video. That by saying this is not a video that attacks Germans. I love Germans. I have a lot of Germans in my life. I think I have, because I'm South African, naturally I have a lot of South Africans in my life, but outside of South Africans, there are a lot of Germans in my life. They are like, I know way more Germans than any other nationalities, okay? I love Germans. But I've also dated a German guy. I was in 2 long-term relationships with German men, and I know German men are weird about money. They make money conversations extremely uncomfortable. They make spending extremely uncomfortable, most of them. So I was dating a German guy. He was quite internationalized in a sense that he had lived in Australia for 5 years, and we were in a country outside of Germany. So he kind of was a lot more chill than a guy who, for example, has never left Germany. But he was still stingy as hell. The first gift he got me when we started dating was a Christmas gift. And guess what the Christmas gift was? Now, if you are used to Germans, you would not be shocked by this. And then, drum rolls! It was a pair of socks. Okay, 2 pairs of socks. Now, these were not just socks though, they were happy socks. He used to be a happy socks thing. I think he still is. I don't talk to him anymore. As happy socks collector, so he got me a pair of happy socks for winter, a pair of happy socks for summer. They were quite cute, and I was happy with them, you know. Even though, like, ideally, I wouldn't want to get socks for Christmas or any other occasion, but I was happy with them. Now, he then traveled to Australia for Easter's, and my birthday's in April, so he came back a week before my birthday, so he got me a birthday gift. And guess what the birthday gift was? It was Australian gem. Now I'm all for souvenirs, okay? Like if you went to Australia and it was like, hey, I went to Australia and they got you a jar of gem, I'm quite happy with that. But like, here's a jar of gem for your birthday. No, thank you. So I called him out on that. He ended up getting me the AirPods. I think it was like the first generation AirPods. Yeah, so he ended up getting me the AirPods as sort of like, I'm sorry that I got you gem for your birthday. There was a particular evening where he invited me over to his place because we used to eat out a lot. I don't know how to cook. He thinks he knows how to cook, but he's quite terrible at it. And I let him think that he could cook. So he invited me over and was like, hey, how about we like cook at mine? We watch a bunch of movies and then just chill indoors. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he was like, I'm going to spend this much money on this and this and this. How about you bring the meat? So I was like, bruh, you could just buy the meat. It's not even going to make a dent on your bank account. But I ended up getting the meat. Now, my favorite story about him was the day we broke up. We broke up because I wanted to leave the country and he did not. So the conclusion was basically like, okay, since we both want different things, in a sense that we both you don't want to live in this country, I want to live in this country, let's break up. So the day he broke up with me, he got me a present. So there's a winter jacket that I've been wanting to buy for a really long time, and he happened to work for the company that manufactures the jacket, so he was getting it on a discount, and he got it for me as a surprise. So I walk into his apartment, he's like, there's a huge box in the kitchen, and he's like, this jacket, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm super excited about it, and then a couple of minutes later, he's sitting on the couch, and he's like, yo, can we break up before you leave? And then we broke up. The following day, I was kind of like caught in a dilemma of, do I take the jacket or do I leave it? Because I was quite pissed at him at that moment. And I ended up taking the jacket because I was like, I've been wanting this jacket, okay? I deserve this jacket. So I took the jacket with me. And a month later, we met up, had a really decent grown-up conversation about our breakup, and we stayed in touch. Not really close friends, but like occasionally checking in on each other. A year later, on his birthday, I sent him a birthday message. So I'm like, hey, happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. And his response is like, thank you. And then a couple of minutes later, is like, can you please pay me back the money that I spent for the jacket? This is a whole year and a couple of months later that this man was now asking me to pay him back for the jacket. Now, I have a lot of pride. And I like to give people money because I don't want people to think that I'm out here running away with the money. But this time I was like, nah, fam, you ain't getting a cent from me. So I never paid him back, which is one of the reasons why we ended up falling out and ended up kind of losing contact with each other. No longer have his number. I don't think he has he definitely doesn't have my number because I've moved countries since then. So yeah, I have a lot of stories about German men and money, okay?
Wow. You see, what this girl is saying is what I keep telling their South Africans. Stop generalizing. Stop generalizing. Something will happen in South Africa. They'll say, it's the Nigerians that are giving our children powder. Meanwhile, their people are the kings of powder. You see, it's sweet when it is another man's country. Now, people came for her and saying, why are you talking about German men? Why are you saying they are like this, they are like that? She said, no, that she's not generalizing. She's just saying some. and especially except the ones who have left, to go out, who have lived outside their country, they can behave differently. But German men don't joke with money. What she's basically saying is that German men are stingy. She also talked about, I don't know if it's this, she talked about South African men, that they are honest men. Now she's comparing her dating. The reason why South African men, she said, the reason why South African men are honest is the fact that South African men will tell you what they want. They come for you and tell you what they want. So that's the honesty she's talking about. But every other thing, she doesn't think. So when people say, oh, Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that, if you do not use the word some or a few, because it's not all Nigerians that will want to push that kind of thing. Moreover, Nigerians are not the one that own these things. It is your men, it is your South Africans that own these things, and then they employ the Nigerians who are there wanting any menial job to survive to do it. And most of them want to really come back. But how can they come back? They cannot, because they know very well that they do not have the means to come back. And you all know the truth. You know very well that Nigerians are not the one causing problem in South Africa. The South Africans in South Africa know the truth. But of course, they will always look for a way to label Nigerian bad, to pull down Nigeria. Now, this is your sister, a South African, talking about how her experience dating German men. Are you seeing her experience? She's not talking about Nigeria, but her experience dating a German man or German men. Okay, that's it. It's up to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section, because this is about to go down. Hey, South Africans.